From running around at incredible speeds to having the power to change timelines, The Flash has everything. And that's without even counting Arrow. With the final season coming up, fans have a lot of expectations, and a new Arrowverse crossover is in the works too. People have talked about what to expect from one of The Flash Season 9's crossover episodes, which will have guest stars from all over the Arrowverse. Fans of the CW's Grant Gustin-led series should expect a lot of twists and turns in the finale, since it will be the last season of the show and the end of the Arrowverse. An end of an era, right? Even though there are many secrets about the show, Eric Wallace, the fearless creator, has already talked about the appearances of Kid Flash, John Diggle, and Oliver Queen's return. Set photos gave fans a look at the crossover, but there is now a lot more information we can get our hands on. Let's start with the season finale. So, what's gonna happen? The episode will have a lot of action scenes with some of our favorite characters. A reliable Arrowverse insider has given us some incredible information. The heroes would fight Senthil Ramamurthy's character, Ramsey Rosso, also known as Bloodwork. Then, we learned another super cool detail. Diggle held a bazooka in one scene, but never fired it. Though, whether or not the actor recorded an indoor sequence with the weapon is unknown. Diggle, who plays Spartan, ran up to Green Arrow and gave him a big hug, implying that this next episode will be the first time they've seen each other since Crisis on Infinite Earths. Cool, right? It gets better. That's when Kid Flash and Flash come into the picture. In this scene between the two speed demons, Barry tells Oliver that he has a clear shot so the two of them can end the threat. Also, there was a scene in which Arrow, Flash, and Kid Flash all lined up. It was super cool. In more than one scene, Green Arrow, the hero of the Arrowverse, can be seen standing on a truck and shooting arrows into the distance while saying, "Ramsey Rosso has failed the city." Another source has also confirmed that all this revolves around a town vehicle. This leads to another super cool question. Why was Green Arrow brought back? Don't worry, I've got you. A lot of fans were super surprised when Stephen Amell's Green Arrow came back, but most of them agree that he added something pretty good to the Arrowverse, and that his return was one of the best things to happen to the show. Still, the character's return with Diggle and Flash, two of his best friends in the series, feels pretty natural from a story point of view. The speedster is likely using an idea from Season 3. Barry Allen sent Leonard Snart's Captain Cold on a mission to the past to help him. At that time, Snart was already dead, but time travel made it possible for him to come back. Bloodwork is such a strong enemy that Team Flash needs to work together to beat him. Barry may have gone back in time when he realized that Oliver Queen has what it takes to beat Ramsey Rosso. Oliver isn't a big fan of time travel, but if Barry asked, he wouldn't say no, especially if Central City's future was in danger. He is the best archer in the DCU, but can the show do justice to the Arrowverse? Fans are skeptical. Even though Arrow came out in 2012 and was the first show in what we now call the Arrowverse, it wouldn't be possible for the CW's DC TV universe to look the way it does now without the Flash. As soon as Barry ran onto the set of Arrow in its second season, the Arrowverse was born. Before that, the CW was only interested in making one show at a time. During its whole run, The Flash was the main thing that tied all the other shows together. It was the beating heart of the whole Arrowverse. With only one final, shorter season left, it must wrap up not only its own story, but also the story of the whole Arrowverse. And it's not even close to being ready to do it. The blame can be placed in one place though. The Flash isn't as good as it used to be. The quality of the show has gone down a lot over the past few seasons. It has angered fans to no end. After the big crossover of Crisis on Infinite Earths and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019, the quality of the show dropped to new lows, continuing on this downward trend that started a long time ago. There was a crossover event in the middle of the 6th season. After the events of the episode Crisis, the season's story just seemed to have no clear goal in sight. Because COVID meant that that the season had to end pretty quickly. The plots that came after weren't as exciting as the ones that came before. After that, the show never got back on track. The next 2 seasons were slow and had plot points that didn't seem to add anything to the bigger picture. Because of this, the show's problems, a large main cast, visual effects that got worse over time, and bad dialogue that not even the very charming ensemble could fix, things got even worse. Yikes. At the beginning of season 9, it was pretty clear that none of these problems had been solved. With all of this in mind, the Arrowverse deserves so much better. It has so many amazing characters, settings, and tones that it deserves to be treated with respect. It has come a long way from its humble beginnings, and a big part of that is because it has so many different stories and characters. But that growth is also a factor in the problem at hand. The rest of the DC universe changed, but The Flash stayed pretty much the same. I liked it when the Arrowverse was doing well, and there were different ways to tell different kinds of stories. The Flash is supposed to tie up everything in the Arrowverse, but it can't do that. The show is a campy superhero show in every way, but it takes itself too seriously. But I do understand that the show has to finish its own show, and it doesn't have much time to do so. Season 9 has only 13 episodes, which is 8 less than a typical season of the show. With a big main cast and 8 seasons of stories to finish, it already has a lot on its plate. It doesn't need the extra stress of having to wrap up the Arrowverse in a big way. This season, characters from the show's past, and the entire DCU. Is there enough time to give fans the closure they deserve? Let me be clear, there isn't. Not even if it would be great for these performers to come back for one last big bang. There's not enough time to watch the episodes that ended on a good note and finish the ones that were cut short. The show might be able to live up to the promise of the world it helped create. Might being the key word. It has shown that, in the right situations, it can capture the spirit of the other shows. For example, it gave a touching ending to the story of the Dark family on Legends. And it was nice to see Jefferson Pierce during the Armageddon crossover event of the previous season. Even though it's not impossible, given how it's been going lately and how much time there is, it seems very unlikely. Fans have stuck with the Arrowverse for almost a decade, even through its flaws. There must be a good reason for this, so they should get a better ending. We deserve that much, don't we? That's all I have on how the final season of The Flash will impact the Arrowverse.